it would be so much easier if when babies were born, they came with a manual, right? And it would be, God can do whatever. He could have made that happen, right? Where babies are born, they're hugging their little baby manual. And it's like, it's got their name, their birth date, the time, it's got everything about them, their destiny, what God created for them. It's got the whole playbook for their whole life. And we're like, cool, right? Let's just line up with that and do it. That would make life so much easier, right? But as parents, I don't know, like, and we've talked about this before, like, I don't want to push our kids to do what we think is good for them. We want them to be who God called them to be, right? We don't want them to be just because I don't, but just if I was all about sports, I'm not going to just make them all football players because that's what I am, right? I want them to follow God's desire for their life. And so the baby manual would make it easy, right? It'd come with instructions. Everything else comes with instructions, right? Everything you buy comes with instructions. Why don't they come with instructions? It would make life easier, or at least we think it does. And I thought it would, right? But in reality, it would make life harder. It would make it a nightmare to have that manual. Because, and I've heard this before, you know, God hides things for us, not from us. Right? Well, for me, it sounded like the same thing. It's still hidden. I don't know what it is. So it doesn't matter if it's for me or from me. I don't know it, right? I don't have it. And so it sounded very similar. But the reality is, if we had that playbook, if we had that baby manual that had everything that God had written for this person, we would be held accountable for everything in it. And whenever we messed up or they messed up, we wouldn't let ourselves off the hook. I mean, it's hard enough for us to do it now, right? Imagine if you had it written down that said they're supposed to go to this school. And you're like, yeah, but God, that's a private school. You know how much that's going to cost? Like, we'll just put them in a public one. They'll be fine, Lord. You're with them, right? And then later on in life, when you're like, man, that private school would have really helped them, because you'd be like, man, I'm just a failure. He had the written word, and I didn't obey, right? And then whatever's wrong with their life, it's always going to be your fault, or it's going to be their fault for whatever, right? And so we are held accountable for the things, these mysteries that the Lord reveals to us. And so if he gave the baby with the book, we would be held accountable for all those things. Plus, never mind that when we get into the flesh and we get upset and frustrated, we might end up turning that book over to somebody that shouldn't have it, right? And then the devil could get a look at it or whatever, right? And then when he messes with our life, it would be a much more targeted attack. And it's like, no, it wouldn't make things easier. It would make things worse. God loves us. And so you protect what you love. So just like, I don't have one, but if I had a Rolex, right, I wouldn't put it out on the table in front of my house, right? It would be in the box, in the safe, under my bed. I don't have a safe there, just so y'all know. But I'm just saying, right, you protect it. With the things that you value, you protect. You put it somewhere else, you protect it. And he values us. We are his riches, so he's protecting our calling, our blessing. He's protecting it, not, again, he's hiding it not from us, but for us.